representing our Health Promotion Strategies class, HEAL 450. Each year, this class is required to come up with a research project, and this is ours, Recycling Plastic Bottles, Your Call of Duty.
All right, so to begin, I'm just going to do a little background on plastic for you. If you just take a notice to these statistics, it's apparent that America does in fact run on plastic. A little bit of information about plastic. It is a petroleum-based product and can never degrade, does not break down. Phthalates from the plastic do in fact leach into our water and food supplies. And although the plastic industry is a multi-billion-dollar industry, there is no known way to clean up the plastic, ironically.
As for some of the health hazards that trash plastics have on humans, it releases emissions of hydrogen chloride, dioxin, and cadmium. Plastic bottles are also made out of polyethylene terephthalate, which is also known as PET. PET is an endocrine disruptor in humans. It can alter hormone levels in the body or change the way in which hormones travel. And PET is also a suspected carcinogen. One of the main economic consequences is that it requires fossil fuels to produce plastic bottles. Approximately 17 million barrels of crude oil are used each year in the manufacturing of plastic bottles. And to produce one plastic bottle, it requires a quarter bottle of oil. And for some of the environmental consequences, some of you may have heard of the Great Pacific Garbage Patch. It is a pile of floating garbage and plastic in the Pacific Ocean that is greater than the size of Texas. The plastic to sea life ratio in this area is 6:1, with over 100,000 marine animals and birds dying each year due to trash plastics. And in relation to the health of humans, we consume the sea life and animals who consume the plastics, therefore we are consuming the harmful particles. And the ethical dilemma is that despite the fact that there are known health, economical, and environmental consequences, plastic companies continue to produce this product. Some of our informal observations around campus concluded that a lot of plastics are being trashed in cafeterias, classrooms, the library, and other buildings where plastic is available. One day in class I had mentioned to the rest of the students that I noticed a lot of plastic bottles in my own classes being thrown away, even though recycling is located nearby. Our brainstorming began from here, which proceeded further into observations and contacting the recycling coordinator, Mary Cahill, who confirmed that there is indeed a problem on the BSU campus with recycling.
So being health majors, we wanted to influence a behavior change for the better in our community. So we were brainstorming and we wanted to look at some research about how prompts and signs precipitate behavior change. And we looked at some of the studies that other strategies classes have done with gym germs in the Adrian Tinsley Center and hand washing around campus. And results did confirm that prompts and signs do precipitate a significant behavior change. So we wanted to see if we could apply it to recycling on campus. So we needed a location to gather our data to confirm our informal observations. So we chose the Bear's Den cafeteria on the west side of campus. We chose one location because we are a small size class of 9, so we figured we could manage one. And also because they have a large variety of plastic bottled beverages that you can buy there. So for our observation, we split up the cafeteria into 3 sections. The side entrance, as you can see, the cardboard box right there is the recycling bin right next to the trash. The food entrance, there's actually 2 recycling bins, the blue university issued one and then the cardboard box. Couldn't get any closer to the trash, okay? And the fountain entrance, where the recycling is literally across from the trash. So for the protocol, for our observations, 11:30 to 1:30, Monday through Friday, we had a student based at each of these entrances with a tally sheet, and they were to record recycled bottles versus trash bottles during that time. This protocol was strictly adhered to for both our pre and posts for consistency reasons. The protocol for our table tents, we basically placed 160 table tents on the tables, as you can see here, 1 per table and up to 4 on the counters. And Monday through Friday during our intervention week, someone would, from our class would go and monitor for damages, vandalisms, and if they were missing, they were all replaced. We got IRB approval and solicitation approval from Margarita Vieira to put those on the table. The pre-intervention lasted a week. Our intervention lasted 2.5 weeks, and our post-intervention lasted a week. The study, however, was 4 weeks because the intervention and post-intervention observations overlapped each other. And I'll explain why in a little bit.
As you can see by our statistics, our informal observations were confirmed. 2 times the amount of people that recycled their bottles trashed them, despite the fact that the recycling bins were directly next to the trash bins. And for our intervention, we wanted to come up with a table tent design that was relevant and would catch the attention of students. I decided to come up with a design in regards to the video game Call of Duty because it is popular and appealing to a lot of students on campus. So this is the design that we came up with. And after the intervention weeks, we collected data for 1 final week. For the first half of the week, the table tents were left up. The second half of the week, they were taken down. And for consistency, it was again the same person at the same location at the same time. And there was a reversal in data with 2 times the amount of people recycling as our baseline data, as you can see.
So to summarize what Jess was just talking about, comparing the baseline data and our post-test data, you can see there was a drastically, statistically significant increase in recycling due to our simple little intervention. So as Jess and I were talking about how we removed the table tents halfway through the post-intervention observation, it was because we wanted to see if the behavior was sustainable. So one day after we took the table tents down, hope was there and we thought the behavior was sustained because the figures remained relatively the same. Twice as many people were recycling. However, another day passed without the table tents and basically the figures reverted right back to baseline data and people were throwing their bottles away.
So within our major, we often learn that behavior change is hard to come by. We have learned many theories and models to influence change that are often very comprehensive and in-depth. And we learned that something simple, inexpensive, yet effective can still bring about significant behavior change. And we were all surprised how simple it could be to influence somebody's recycling behavior.
So some of the limitations of our study, we realized that on Monday, the people that were going to the Bears Den wouldn't necessarily be the same people going on a Thursday. So different behaviors could definitely be influenced by the different people going, but we accepted that. And also, the weather seemed to be a limitation. If it was nice out, people seemed to just grab their food, their plastic bottle, and go. But if it was, New England rain or snow or sleet, they stayed inside. Also, we received a quote from a staff member who was at the Bears Den, who was responsible for the maintenance of the recycling and trash receptacles. And he basically questioned one of our classmates, like, why are you taking that table tent down? And she was like, why? And he said, well, I have to empty the recycling bins more frequently. Those things are working. So, we were happy that he noticed because he had to empty the recycling more often.
One thing that all of our observers noticed was that despite the fact that the recycling bins were located directly next to the trash cans, people still neglected that and continued to throw away their plastic bottles. So as a recommendation from our class, we think that the recycling bins around campus should be increased and that we can implement the permanent use of prompts or signs to influence people's recycling behavior in all cafeterias and or buildings where recycling is available.
And we basically make this recommendation as a class because, from the quote from the staff member and our data collection and observation that people did recycle when the prompt was there and it was more sustained when they were constantly reminded. So maybe that would increase recycling and stop that trash barrel from looking like that. So that was our research.